Welcome to the Marketing with Cultura podcast, designed for Latinas, Latinx, breaking into marketing. I am your host, Vanessa Parra, a Latina marketer with over a decade of experience, and as a former recruiter and hiring marketing manager, I'll share exactly what businesses look for in their next marketing hire. Welcome. If you are in the beginning stages of your marketing career and maybe want to learn about how to implement public relations or acquire skill sets in PR, this episode is for you. I interview Naomi Pinedo, a Latina content creator and digital marketer from Monterey County, and she shares her journey into marketing, the importance of community and mentorship, and touches on her experience in public relations and provides us with some valuable resources and tips to gain more experience in PR. This was such an amazing conversation. I really enjoyed getting to know Naomi and sharing her story. So a little bit more about Naomi. She is a digital marketer, content creator, and first-generation college graduate with a Bachelor of Science in International Marketing from San Jose State University. As the eldest in her family, her entrepreneurial and creative upbringing has shaped her problem-solving skills and driven her to pursue meaningful goals. Her mission is to leverage her expertise to drive positive change and contribute to industries that reflect her values. With 10 years of experience spanning customer service, retail, food service, marketing, and public relations, Naomi brings a well-rounded perspective to her work. She is passionate about consumer packaged goods in agriculture and wellness. And as a content creator, Naomi uses storytelling and social media partnerships to connect audiences with brands in impactful ways by emphasizing creativity, inclusivity, and community. And she showcases fashion, beauty, and local events, inspiring her audience and helping brands build trust and last relationships. So as you can see, Naomi is really well diverse. Her work touches in every aspect of marketing. So if you would like to learn more about PR, content creation, this episode is for you. So go ahead, grab your cafecito, and let's listen in. Enjoy. Welcome to another podcast episode of Marketing with Cultura. I am your host, Vanessa Parra. And today I'm super excited because I am interviewing Naomi Pinedo, who is a Monterey County content creator, digital marketer, Latina in marketing, and I'm just really excited to interview her today and learn more about her experience and her career journey, and for her to provide us some tips on public relations if that's something that you want to get into. Hi, Naomi. How are you?
Hi, Vanessa. I'm doing really well. Thank you for having me. I feel very special to be part of your podcast.
I'm so happy that you're here. We need more Latinas, sharing their story and just providing more tips for those that want to break into marketing. Let's start off with learning a little bit about you, your background, who you are.
I'm from Salinas, California, the south of the world, and I grew up here, and I'm still living here. Though I went to San Jose State University for my bachelor's in international marketing. Going to San Jose State, I actually was an undeclared major. I wasn't sure what I wanted to pursue, but eventually I knew I wanted to have a career in business. And I didn't want to do marketing because I thought it was overrated in high school. I felt that everybody wanted to do marketing, but eventually that's where I ended up being, and I really have endured it a lot. It was kind of hard to get into marketing actually because it's a very compacted major, so I had to figure out how to get there. So through pursuing a field in international and then specializing in marketing was how I got there.
So I'm curious, do you believe now that you are in marketing that you need a degree to be in marketing? I'm curious to know what your opinions are on that.
I think a lot of different jobs ask for a degree in marketing. I know that in some internships or jobs, they don't always require it, they require experience. Though I think having a degree definitely gives you a leg up. And even in different programs, they expect you to have a degree. So I think it depends, though I would most likely recommend people to have a degree in marketing, and definitely getting that experience through projects in school or outside school projects. It's very important to have that initiative and seek out ways to get experience in marketing, especially with social media. It's much more easier to get that experience.
Yeah. I I agree with you. I think it just depends. And again, it might be depending on when you went to school. Me personally, when I was in college, marketing was so different than the way digital marketing is now. There's a lot of things that I learned throughout my career because I volunteered or I helped build my portfolio or I worked with clients as a freelancer that I really didn't learn in college. But again, there are those companies that do require a degree. So I think it just depends on the type of company that you apply for. But I also believe that if you have the experience, sometimes companies will overlook the degree as long as you're able to really portray in your portfolio or your resume, like how much experience you have. I know you mentioned that when you were in college, you didn't really want to get into marketing because you felt that it was overrated. What made you decide to get into marketing then?
Connecting with people and bringing ideas to life. And I think that's a really big thing that marketers do, such as let's try this campaign, let's launch this product. And a lot of it is brainstorming, collaborating with different team members, and then bringing it to life and promoting it. And I just really love that idea and being the forefront of a company, the image, the ambassador. It's all types of different similar work that a marketer does. And that really caught my attention. I liked being on social media, and I thought it'd be fun to create posts, stories, videos. So I thought it was all pretty fun things to work on. And I decided that's what I wanted to pursue.
I'm also curious when you were looking for a marketing job, either in college or once you finished college, how was that experience? Was it easy? Was it difficult? Did you feel prepared?
For me, I had work experience since I started working at a young age, around high school, with family businesses, such as my mom had a clothing boutique store that I used to help her with. My family also had a baked potato stand and a flea market that also worked. So these are very customer service roles. And then being at San Jose State University, I also had a student assistant role, which dealt with marketing and public relations. And so I felt that those gave me experience as well as projects I worked on. And we also worked with a restaurant called Flames, and we did a mock up of their menu, of their business cards. So I felt pretty sure of myself and confident. But then looking at the job descriptions, I thought to myself, wow, they're asking for a lot. And I don't have all this experience. So I still would apply for jobs and hope to get somewhere with that. And unfortunately, I graduated during COVID time, so it was very difficult to get a job. And it was also very uncertain. And I was also being precautious because I had family who were affected by COVID, so it was very personal for me and important for me to be mindful of people around me. I wasn't sure if I wanted to work in person or remotely, and that had an influence on my decision since I was fortunate enough to get a role at this real estate company, being their administrative assistant and marketing person. But I declined it because I was so concerned about being in person. And instead, I took this job with the hiring agency called Slingshot Connections as an escalation agent for language line solutions. And I enjoyed the role, and I did also customer service, but I felt that I wanted to go back into marketing. And it was a remote role, which made me feel more comfortable in taking it. And so after that, I continued pursuing marketing roles. It wasn't easy since, like I said, They wanted lots of different experiences like SEO, SEM, campaigns, and I wasn't familiar with those terms since I didn't learn that in college for some reason. Maybe that would have been better for me. But then a friend told me about this program called Co-op Careers, and it had different tracks such as sales track, analytics track, and digital marketing track. And I decided to go into the digital marketing track. So after work, I would go like 4 times a week. They had these classes where they would teach us those types of terms and also give us a project to work on with a nonprofit organization to work on their marketing campaign. So I felt so much more confident in my skills after that, as well as a community of people that were in a similar situation as me, also from minority background, that I could rely on or ask for help. And through that program, I also was able to find mentors that helped me in difficult situations or decisions I wasn't sure what to take on. And I really appreciated that from that program. And from then on, I got my job at Ocean Mist Farms as a marketing coordinator, also through a staffing agency called Robert Half. That was more of my corporate marketing role. And I did a lot of trade shows, learned how the agriculture business ran, and I really had a great time. Though it was a temporary role. After that, I found this job where I'm at currently at the Arts Council of Monterey County as a marketing coordinator. And I really like all that I do. I have learned so much and grown as well in this role. I now do newsletters, social media, advertising, PR, and it's just a feel good job that makes you feel so happy about all those different things that people do to help artists. There's just grants that we offer, and people are trying to help these artists and sell by their arts. So I'm just like, wow, there's so much good in this world that I don't really see often, and we try to promote and show all that we do.
Before I touch into PR, I just want to go back a bit because you touched on 3 points that I really want to go into more detail. The first one, you mentioned that prior to going to college and pursuing your marketing degree, you were already helping with marketing with your parents' business, different restaurants, stuff like that. I think that's a really great way to get experience. And I highly believe people should take advantage of that situation if they have like a family business or a friend or maybe even a nonprofit that they truly believe in. Offer your services, right? And just gain that experience. So I'm really glad to hear that that's how you improved your skill sets and felt more confident when applying for marketing roles. So that's the first thing. Second, I know you mentioned community and how that's important to you. Can you elaborate a little bit more? How has community helped you growing your career or maybe make you feel more confident in what you do?
Having a community that supports you has been very detrimental in my growth, personal wise and career wise. When there's times when you're struggling or not sure what to do, that community is good to have to ask questions, brainstorm, fall back on, and make the best decisions that you can make with what you have. My first community is my family, and my second community is more my professional community that I've developed throughout the years from different programs I've been in, mentorships. That also kind of goes in hand with networking and connecting with people, especially people that you might admire or want to learn from. I think is very important.
You also touched on having a mentor. Can you elaborate a little bit more on that as well? How was that experience? How did they help you?
Yes, so at Co-op Careers, I was in two mentorships. One of my mentors was a director at a digital agency, and he worked as a graphic designer. And so he would give me some pointers. I have a question, I'd ask him to clarify, what do you think this my manager trying to tell me, or how can I grow? It made me feel more confident in the decisions I was making. It felt reassuring. And my other mentor, it was a similar situation. I'm just really happy I was able to talk to people that were more leadership roles and ask them how they got there. How can I improve myself. Like, how do you feel so confident talking to presidents or directors? Those are questions that came to my mind when I would talk to them, because I've always wondered. And so whatever thoughts I had, I had these times with them. So I would ask them all sorts of questions, and they were open and willing to help me. So that's something that I would like to do in the future as well.
I know you mentioned that you worked in different types of organizations. Which one was your favorite? And also, what was like a fun campaign or event or project that you worked on?
At my current job, I have worked on different campaigns that I felt pretty happy about or proud of. And one of them is called OSAT, which stands for Open Studios Art Tour in Monterey County. And that was the first time we took on this event. It basically entails different artists in Monterey County opening up their studios or their home studios or galleries up to the public that usually isn't open. The purpose of that is to sell their product, kind of give a behind the scenes look at what it takes to be an artist, since people might think it's easy, but it's a very skilled craft to have. And so in order to do that, we had to work with different media to get the word out, newspapers, newsletters, radio stations, and on a catalog with MC Weekly for this event, and also worked with an app to have the event and all the artists into the app and have everybody all in the know, all in one place, and also had all the stuff on our website too. So it was a major project. They got the most registers out of all the other years before. And then it was really fun to go and explore all the different artists that are in my town or in the city, and getting to meet them, take photos, take video, take content, interview them. I really love that whole experience, and I'm excited to work on it again this year.
That sounds amazing and fun. That's great that you're helping the community and you get to do a little bit of everything, because marketing is so broad. And so the fact that you get to do a little bit of everything, that's really good. I know you mentioned that you have experience in PR. For those people out there that maybe want to get into PR and really don't know what PR is, can you explain what is PR and how you can get started learning about PR?
So PR stands for public relations. I relate it a lot with press releases. And if you don't know what press release is, it's basically a document that has all information of an event, such as a date, description, names of people who are going to be there, and photos or graphics that you want to share. And usually that's sent out to a media list, which could be from a news publishing, a radio station, a TV station. And so it's important to get the word out if you have an event or you have an accomplishment. It's how the media knows what you're doing to be able to broadcast it and share it to their own community or audience. Nowadays, I've been seeing that PR is becoming intertwined with influencers and having that brand image and connecting with other businesses and companies. So it's become a little bit more broader. I think it's important to have those people skills, because it really comes down to who you know, who you have contacts with. They choose what gets out. So it's important to have those strong, positive relationships with everybody.
Yeah, I agree. I have noticed, because obviously influencer marketing is really big right now, and every organization wants to at least try it once. And I do see that it falls under PR. They're the ones reaching out to influencers, trying to find partnerships to work on campaigns, stuff like that. And me personally, I was never interested in PR, but because it involves influencer marketing, it is something that I've been trying to dabble into. Because my background is in social media. I worked a lot with influencers, but not necessarily the PR route. But I think those are additional skill sets that would be great for any marketer. So say someone wants to learn, where can they learn besides obviously going to school? And do you recommend or suggest any courses or books or articles or anything like that?
So to learn more about public relations, I follow Grad Girl Marketing on LinkedIn, and every now and then they post a list of free marketing courses, and one of them involves PR Academy Introduction to PR. And that's one I've taken before, and it helped me get more of a better insight of what PR is, how to improve PR campaigns, and it was just really helpful for me to get more of that background knowledge.
Thank you. We will add it in the show notes. That way, if other listeners want to check it out and get more experience in PR, they can go to that website. I know you said you are a content creator. So can you tell us a little bit about that, how that's going? Why did you decide to be a content creator?
I always thought about creating content, my own content personally, since I love collaborating with different companies, with people. And so one of my first campaigns was with Blowfish Malibu, the shoe company, and they had reached out to me to promote one of their shoe lines. And I got really excited when I first got the email and they reached out to me, and I was really happy to create content for them, images, a reel, unboxing reveal. So that was really fun to me. And I'm currently in the works of another campaign, though it's still in the works. So I currently make content for a professional makeup artist as well as a hairdresser. I also work with photographers to make this content come to life, and they're basically all like my friends. So I have a good time showing their work and telling people to check them out. So it's really something that I enjoy doing, and especially since one of the things that I think is important is slow fashion, more sustainable approach to what you're wearing. There's a lot of waste in places around the world that we don't get to see, and I've been seeing lots of documentaries regarding that. So I've been wanting to promote more about that type of aspect and ways to reuse your wardrobe, different fashion styles. So I think that's very important too. I'm most happy to collaborate with different companies and see where that goes.
So I'm curious to hear your thoughts. Do you think being a content creator makes you a better marketer? Because I know years ago, to be a marketer or a social media manager, yes, obviously you would understand marketing, understand social media, but back in the day, typically businesses, they would provide you with the assets, the images, and then you would just schedule it or post it. But now, because a lot of companies, obviously, because of inflation and just a lot of budget cuts, they have a smaller marketing budget. So whoever they hire on as a marketer, they kind of expect them to do a lot, right? I always say a marketer is a unicorn. That's my little logo or emoji, is a unicorn, because a lot of businesses don't realize, especially if you report to someone that doesn't understand marketing, they expect you to do everything from social media to website management to being a photographer, content creator. And so I personally believe that if you are a content creator, your marketing will be so much better. You're more valuable when applying for a job. What are your thoughts?
I totally agree with this. I saw somebody post this once on LinkedIn that marketing is the hardest, easiest looking job. And I think it's pretty agreeable. Content creation is something that I see a lot of nowadays. It's important to make sure you're making high quality content to stand out and get those high impressions and engagement. So I think it's important to have different marketing skills and not just one, because of how you said the budget cuts and unfortunately job losses. So it's important to be well-rounded and always learn new marketing skills, especially since marketing is always growing and evolving. You just have to have that initiative and take on that task to continue learning.
So with marketing, I strongly believe that no one is an expert, because even when you master something, technology, marketing changes so fast and you have to learn a new skill set or a new framework or whatever. So I'm curious, what do you do to continue growing your technical or personal skill sets or development?
For me, to continue growing my own skills, I really do feel happy that I'm in a role where I'm constantly growing and evolving and hopping on to trends, and that always seems to help. And like as I mentioned before, following different LinkedIn or social media influencers on careers or marketing has been very helpful. I've been attending Hootsuite webinars that lets you know about what is trending in social media advice, what's working, what's not working anymore, do's and don'ts. So it's really important to keep on top of your game and pursue those ways that you can learn.
What advice or 3 tips would you give someone that's starting in marketing and wants to land their first marketing job?
One advice is applying to internships early on. I wish that's something I would have done, but I would look for internships, but I didn't know where to go or to look for them. Back then, we used Handshake. I'm not sure that's still a thing, but I think it still is. And I also used Indeed and LinkedIn, but it was hard to still find internships unless if you were in the know. I would still advocate for looking for internships as well as even having a job, like any kind of job, it'll give you transferable skills. And another thing is taking on leadership roles in different clubs that you're passionate about, because that will help you get leadership skills and take on responsibilities that can translate to different jobs that you may want to pursue. So I think that's important. Of course, always be willing to learn. That's always important as marketing is evolving, and staying curious and adaptable is important. And the third thing is building your network and personal brand. Your network is just about almost everything. A lot of the jobs that I did not get, I would always see, okay, so who got this job? I want to know, what am I missing out on, or what am I not doing right, or whatever. How can I improve or learn? And most of the time, it was people who were already in the company, internal, that get the jobs, either because they were already interns or started early on. I was like, oh man, I wish I had known about these internships. So it's important to seek out those companies and apply typically in the spring, which is February, January. That's when they usually open up, but it varies for every company. And so that's one thing I would recommend. And I recently started posting on LinkedIn. I hadn't done it for a while, but I kept hearing by these career influencers to post on LinkedIn, show what you've done, share projects. And I thought, okay, I have some projects I've been working on that I'm happy to share. And so that's something that I mostly been doing on LinkedIn, just showing what I'm excited about, what I've been working on, what I've been enjoying, just to give insight of what's in my role. And you never know who could be seeing it and learn from you. LinkedIn is now one of my top social medias. It's also Instagram, but now LinkedIn they're the top two. And now there's more fun with LinkedIn. I feel like LinkedIn before was very more uptight, but nowadays it's much more casual, but still professional, but casual in a cool way. So it's fun to see what people are doing and rebrands of different brands that I like. So it's really fun place to be now, with my opinion.
I highly, highly suggest when you're starting your marketing career journey, and even once you have experience, I agree with the whole networking. That's something I learned the hard way. Being first gen Mexican American, I didn't know anyone in marketing. It took me a very long time to get into marketing. And I have shared my story in the past that I started my first role as a recruiter and eventually I got into marketing. So I always tell my interns, everyone that I talk to, you need to network, because the only way you'll hear about opportunities or get the job is if people know who you are. It's not even about what you know, it's about who knows you. so they can refer you or so you can leverage those connections. People should really spend time networking and trying to build genuine relationships, and not in a way where like, oh, what can you do for me? Because no one's going to want to connect with you or be your friend if you're reaching out to people in exchange for something. But if you build genuine relationships, eventually when something comes up, they'll think of you. And the best way is through personal branding. And I agree, it's LinkedIn. I love LinkedIn. I've been on LinkedIn for years. I had this other story that I mentioned about, it was actually a horror story. When I first started my career journey, it was one of my interviews when I was trying to interview for a marketing coordinator position. The marketing director, the hiring manager, said, "Hey, Vanessa, I tried looking you up on LinkedIn and I couldn't find a profile. Do you not have a profile?" And I said, "No, I know what LinkedIn is, but no, I don't have one." And then he told me, "Vanessa, you're trying to get into marketing. If you can't even market yourself, why would I hire you to market my company?" So obviously I didn't get the job. I went home and I cried, and I opened up my LinkedIn account. And ever since then, I've always been on LinkedIn, not as active as I am now, but even then, I always ensured to keep my profile up to date. And just that alone, I constantly got DM'd by recruiters, hiring managers. But now that I am more front facing in my career, and I'm taking my personal brand serious, especially with this podcast. I have a full strategy in place with LinkedIn. And I love Instagram, but personally, if you're trying to land a job in marketing, you're not going to land it using Instagram. It's through LinkedIn, because that's where the recruiters are, the hiring managers are. And just growing your network on LinkedIn, people will think of you.
Yes.
It's funny, even when people don't like your post or comment, I'll run into people and they'll be like, "Wow, you're killing it on LinkedIn. Like, you're always posting. It's so much fun, like everything that you post." And in my mind, I'm like, "Why aren't you liking my post then?" Right? Because you might get self-conscious and think like, "Oh my God, I'm posting. No one's liking my post. No one cares." And you want to give up. But there's actually people like following, watching what you're doing, cheering you on, but you just don't know. And so at that moment, you can't really think about what people are thinking. You just need to think about like, I'm here showing what I know, providing value to my network, and hopefully I will get seen and the right person will refer me to a job or let me know of an opportunity. So yeah, LinkedIn is the place to be. So I completely agree.
Yeah, like with LinkedIn, I would only get like a few likes. It's not the same likes as Instagram. So it's like, what is going on here? I have followers. Where are they? But the thing is with LinkedIn is whatever you like or comment, it shows on everybody's feed, which is not like Instagram. So people feel more comfortable to, not like or comment because of that reason. Though they're still watching and they're still looking. So that is very important to keep in mind. Even if you don't get those engagements, just know it's being seen. And hopefully by the right people, I'm sure.
Before we end this interview, we all would like to know, so what's next? What kind of role would you like next, or would you like to pursue or grow in?
Being in marketing, hopefully in a more leadership role eventually. And I really like the CPG world, consumer packaged goods, whether it's in food, ag, or beauty. I like all those things. I'm a girl, so it's just stuff that I enjoy doing and things I like using. And yeah, continue posting on LinkedIn, keeping on creating content, working with different clients, and working in social media, of course.
Great. Now, a fun question. What's your theme song? So, what song motivates you if you hear it, or maybe represents any struggles that you face?
I've been thinking about this for a while, and just recently I came across My Life by Mary J. Blige. I think I said her name correctly. And I just listened to it and I was like, wow, this is such a beautiful song. Like, I love it. I love the tune. It's kind of has a 70s tune to it. And it kind of does remind me of that resilience, that growth, pushing forward despite challenges. So it definitely represents what I've been through and how I continue to strive for success. Because a lot of things you see on social media is mostly success and accomplishments, though there's a lot that goes behind that. And that's something that I relate to. I usually post the good things, but there's definitely been hardships. So it's always good to keep pushing through and know that there's good days ahead.
Before we wrap up, any other words of wisdom or anything you'd like to share with the audience?
The words of wisdom would be to build your LinkedIn. A lot of people have gotten jobs through referrals. I see that a big trend now, but it's not easy to always give referrals. It's not the easy to network, though. It's something that the more you do, the more comfortable you become doing, and it becomes more naturally and less awkward. I think that's something that's not spoken enough about. So just have confidence in your skills and always look towards people as, how it could be mutually beneficial. You never know how you can offer some help or support to them and vice versa. So just continue doing what you love, and sure enough, you will reach your goals. I also believe in manifestation. I know you brought that up before in podcasts, and I believe in that as well. It keeps me it gives me relief, and just gives me a positive outlook into the future.
And that's why I created this podcast, because I want to form a community of Latinx marketers. That way we can help each other out, bounce ideas, invite each other to events. And that's something that I definitely want to continue growing. So those of you listening, please DM us, let us know. Maybe we can do like a marketing meetup if you're in the area, and that way we can continue networking. Now, before we end this interview, if someone wants to connect with you, where should they go?
They can definitely reach out to me on LinkedIn under Naomi Pinedo. That's mostly my professional one. And more of my content creation is my Instagram, which is Naomi Media World.
Perfect. All that will be in the show notes, so feel free to check that out. Well, thank you, Naomi, for being here. I really enjoyed learning about your experience, your background. You provided us with some great tips that now our listeners can go and try to implement. And thank you for your time. I really enjoyed getting to know you better.
Of course, thank you so much for having me here. I had such a great time speaking with you and sharing my insights to anybody who may find this of value. And I'm looking forward to staying in touch.
Thank you.